Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the ATA program today for our CLC Connection for Internships. My name is Brittany Smith, and I serve as one of the lovely 8 peer mentors here in the Accelerated Transfer Academy, and I will be the moderator for today's event. We will be diving into a great conversation with our honored guest, whom I will introduce momentarily, about their career, education, transition into the workforce, and of course, about their internships. Before we get started, I wanted to cover some housekeeping items. This is an opportunity for you to engage and ask our guests many questions. To do so, please utilize the chat box for any questions that you may have. We will ask your questions out loud and answer them live. Additionally, this event is being recorded and will be made available to you later on to rewatch and share with your peers. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I will let you introduce yourself first.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Ramirez. I am one of the ATA scholars here at the University of Houston downtown. I'm also the lead mentor for the Men of Legacy. And I'm just gonna keep it short. Y'all will see me here on campus, literally everywhere. I'm in everything. I wear many hats, and so I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mckenzie Brewer, and I am an ATA and UHD alumni. I graduated last spring, 2022. I also was once a peer mentor for ATA. I really miss being here. It's nice to kind of feel at home again. And as of right now, I'm just working to go back to school and get my master's sometime.
Yay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with an icebreaker question. So what is your favorite word? And let me give you guys a second to think about this. These are our 2 English majors. Second. Okay, Kenzie, go ahead. What is your favorite word and why?
Oh my goodness. That's a really good question. Oh my goodness, my favorite word. David, do you have a word?
Yeah.
Go ahead and you go.
Okay, David, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word is opportunity. Because an opportunity can be many different things. An opportunity can mean an opportunity for a new job, an opportunity to make more money, an opportunity to make more change, an opportunity to grow. So opportunity.
I love that.
That's really nice. That was really nice.
Kenzie, did you think of a word?
Yes, and I think the only word that can come to my mind right now is worthy, maybe because that's just something I've been struggling with, just my worth after graduating, what to do with my degree, if it was worth it, which it was, not saying, but those are just kind of the things you grapple with like post-graduating is like your worth. But lately I can definitely say my worth has been improving a lot. So I've been working a lot on my worthiness. People are worth, everyone is worth something, everyone is valuable and worthy in their own way. So I've been trying to keep that little mantra, like you are worthy, you are worthy. So I think that'll be my favorite.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our questions. And once again, if anybody has any questions for our 2 panelists, please make sure to use the chat box and we will ask them out loud. Okay, so we're gonna start with our first question. And I want you guys to just kind of share your educational background of who you are and what inspired you to not only come to UHD, but to pursue the internships that you did pursue. So David, we're gonna go ahead and start with you first.
Okay. So what brought me here to the university? Well, this was my first choice. I always knew I wanted to come here, but I just knew that I don't know, part of me just was not ready to come directly here, but I always knew that this was the end goal. What was part of the other question? Can you repeat it just a little bit for me, please?
And your background or your educational journey. So like, what are you studying? Why are you studying that?
And so I am an English major, and I originally wanted to be an English teacher, a high school English teacher. However, working here with students and being a mentor has really opened up my mind into doing other things besides just, being an English teacher. I've decided that I want to pursue a Master's of Science in Education Administration and Higher Ed, because I want to work with college students with success programs and making sure particularly working with first generational students, particularly minorities, to raise the amount of graduate minorities that we have with degrees.
That's amazing. I love that. Kenzie, let's go ahead and talk about you next.
Alrighty. So obviously I've graduated with my English degree with a concentration in creative writing. I didn't necessarily want to do anything specific with creative writing. At the time, I actually had I was just going with my gut, with what I loved, because when I came to UHC, this was actually my third college. So I first went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, went to Maine, and then finally found my way here. And what really made me choose UHC was I struggled a lot with just size of the classrooms. The overwhelmingness of main campus was just too much. I got really lost. I was also at the time a biology major, so I had a totally different major than what I have now. And a lot of it, just at the end of it, especially during the pandemic, I was just like, every single day, I was like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And it's just, no matter how many times I tried to, tell myself, your ankle's a doctor, it just wasn't, the emotional and mental strain was not worth it, that I had to, tell myself, do what you like, do what you love. And it was always English, reading and writing has always been, more of my forte in school all the time. I just always had this mindset of like, go big or go home. But at the end of the day, it's what you thoroughly enjoy. What is it that you want to do with your life? What's fulfilling to you? What's important to you? And eventually I came to find out what was important to me was, knowledge, and distributing that knowledge, making it more accessible, so I finally decided I wanted to work in higher education. I wanted to teach in higher ed. Like David was saying, being a peer mentor really helped me like figure out, what age group I really like to work with. And that was college students. You had so many people from so many different backgrounds, and a lot of people can relate to you in a lot of different ways. So it was really fulfilling to work with my peers and hear their journey and get to relate with them and help them get to where they want to go in their college career. So in the moment though, I am wanting to pursue my master's in library science, because I do, like I said, my passion is with books and reading. So in the library, I can do that. And from there, and that's actually a lot of controversy going on right now with archivists and librarians, keeping within to the library. But what I think actually the importance of a library is community, is getting that knowledge out into the community, especially into younger generations. They say that the library and physical books are dying because of digital technology, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you can make it into a digital and physical aspect and get that knowledge out and inform people of their history, genealogy, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's my passion right now, is getting all the knowledge I can and return it back to the community. So, but yeah, it's been a little bit of a journey, a little bit of hassle trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, especially post-grad. You sit there with a degree and you're kind of just like, what do I do with you? What do I do with this 20K piece of paper? But really, I want to give it back. I want to keep, being knowledgeable, keep on learning, and give it all back. So that's what I hope to do.
I love that. And forever are aspiring can be always so good. We love that about you.
Thank you.
So since this is, of course, the internship CLC, I want to talk about the internships that you guys pursued. So David, we're going to start with you. What was your internship and what did you do?
So my internship, I had an internship with the Mayor's Office of Education. Now I believe it is called the Mayor's Office of Education and Youth Empowerment. Not so sure, don't quote me on that. But essentially what I did, I took on a social media campaign within the Office of Education, because we had a lot of interns. And so I wanted to make sure that, the public knew that, who we were. Because one thing that the director over the program said was, we are a public serving institution. And so like, we had to make sure that, the public always knew what we were working on. And so, yeah, I created introduction videos for all the interns, and apparently they loved it so much that, they sent it out to I don't know, to some department in the mayor's office. I don't know where it landed, but they kept asking for it for weeks as I was already, knee deep in my universe, here at the university with work. I was like, okay, let me send it, let me
Right.
send it. And on top of that, I also worked on the the UNICEF collaboration with the city of Houston to make sure that we are the first city in the United States to be to start the initiative for oh my God, it's escaping me right now.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
For what is, oh my goodness. Summer was like a blur. No.
Summer was summer was a blur.
It wasn't work.
Basically it was for the Child Friendly Cities Initiative. To make sure that, city is one of the first cities, making sure that we were taking steps to make sure that Houston is a safe city for children.
I love that.
Yes, so I partnered with the city of Houston and with UNICEF to plan a big celebration for to start the initiative.
That's amazing. Oh, so you did really fun and really impactful stuff.
Yeah.
Good job, David.
Good job, David. Love that.
So Kenzie, what was your internship and what did you do?
So my internship was back during the pandemic, actually. So I had a virtual internship, which was really interesting. I actually was sort of the guinea pig, me and two other girls, and it was a collaboration with ATA and Study Abroad. In theory, we were supposed to have our virtual internship and then take a week to Costa Rica. And so we taught the university students at Universidad de los Ninos in Costa Rica, which was, we worked with students between 17 to 19 years old, one-on-one, and we were teaching them English, which was really beneficial to me because I was also at the same time in a Spanish class. I was just about to get into my intermediate level. My student was at intermediate English. So it was actually a learning experience for both of us, helped me a lot. Even though primarily I was supposed to speak English with him, it helped a lot in terms of that like Spanglish. But essentially what I did is we created class material for the entire class, and then we were assigned only one student in Costa Rica. Not every student has internet access at home. That's not something that is accessible to them. So we were only able to work with the students that could, and sometimes they didn't have internet all the time, and it would always get cut off for them. So it was definitely really interesting to learn to accommodate with that and learn how to put material digitally. I'm getting into education, and nowadays everything is new technology. Thanks to the pandemic, it was even
Right.
more full force technology. So similar to David, I created a lot of video material, a lot of audio material. Made my own little homework and material sheets from my student Kevin. I still remember him, he was so sweet. But yeah, we just worked on creating a bunch of different material, whether it be via like interactive PowerPoints. That's when I discovered Canva. Canva is the greatest online tool ever.
Absolutely is. We're using a lot here in case y'all haven't
Yes.
noticed.
Love Canva. And so many like little podcasts, and we do like little podcast things, and it was really fun. It honestly really was. We got to either work as a group of us 3 or do it kind of individual. Our internship was, I would say, just a little bit more laid back because, like I said, this was during the pandemic. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Costa Rica. They had like 3-4 like major like new lockdowns in the country because it was just they were not getting the accessibility of vaccines at the time. So missed opportunity, but I got a really great relationship with my student. And I think that's whenever I realized I was like, okay, this is the group of kids that I want to work with. I want to work with my peers. And I really love what the university was doing there. Just a little background on it. Their university actually extends all the way into elementary school. So it's a school that parents can enroll their children in. And not only are they enrolling them in school, but they also are getting basic necessities. So like daycare, childcare, parents are working all day. They also get, foods and necessities that they might not get at home due to the violence, due to the poverty in the area. So it was really an awesome program. And really the goal was that the student was to complete all the way through high school and then get into the college. And once they got into the college, the university, from there, they were given mass opportunities to find more jobs out of the country. They have, I can't give the exact percentage, I don't have it off the top of my head, but in Costa Rica, in terms of like students going into a university and then making a career out of it, very, very low. So they're trying to, they're doing a really great job at it of giving more opportunities to the children there in Costa Rica that don't necessarily have it. So they're doing an amazing job down there. I would love to intern with them again. I actually just this past summer, I looked at it again to see, I want to pick up more of my Spanish though, before I do any of that. Because for me, that's one thing I'm also highly focused on, bilingual nowadays is like, you want to have that on your resume. And I think also in general, it's just a great way to connect with community and learn another cultures through another language. So that's been really fun. But yeah, I chose the internship because like I said, I had also just at that time just switched my major to an English major, just was like, okay, I think I want to get into education. And that's what really helped solidify, like, I love being a mentor, a tutor, a teacher, and just, it's really fulfilling. That was a really fun internship to do, so.
I love that. And I love how you went right into my next question, which is like why you chose that.
Yes.
So David, I'm gonna come to you next. Why did you choose your internship? Because that's a big thing, choosing an internship that is meaningful to you, but also that makes an impact.
So I had chose it because there was one student that I saw here at the sorry, in the ATA program who had done the internship prior to me. I don't remember her name exactly.
It was Linda. I remember
Linda.
exactly. Shout out to Linda if you're watching. Hey girl, hey.
And so she had done it. And I remember everyone was just like really, really proud of her. I don't know exactly what office she did, but it turns out we worked in the same office.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so it was just kind of meant to be. And I was like, oh my God, how cool. And I was just like, oh, it's the mayor, like I would want to meet him, and I'm a native Houstonian, so I would always drive by City Hall. Like I would see it and I'm like, oh my God, like really neat. How cool would it be to like, work there,
Yeah.
Right.
Growing up, I never thought, that would be like accessible. Like in my wildest dreams, but never in my wildest dreams would I ever thought, oh, I would be able to like walk in that building and,
Right.
go up and down the same elevator that, the mayor would like go up and down. And for all I know, we probably touched the same button, right after each other. But like, and so when the opportunity came and I saw it and I was like, wow, we got to keep this in the ATA family, we got to keep this tradition going. Maybe it's a thing that someone after me will do too, from ATA. And so I was like, we got to keep the tradition alive. But also I was like, you know what, this is my opportunity to finally walk up in that building and see, see the magic that happens behind making the city run and seeing, the different people that, help to keep the city running. And it was just really an awesome experience, just to be there.
I love that. And I like that you did that simply because you're like, I want to know what goes on in that building. I want to walk in that building. Because for some people, it's like, oh, I chose my internship because I want to make a difference with this certain thing. But you were like, I think I want to follow one of my dreams and go in that building and like need to be there.
I was like, I need to see what's in there. I need
That's pretty on the inside, that's at the outside.
Right.
I want to know what's it look like inside.
No, but it's important because I feel like some people are like, oh, well, this internship is good for this, but I don't think it'll be fun. And I feel like it's important to pick an internship for whatever reason that you feel is worthy for you. And I know I wanted to use your word worthy. Yeah. Like whatever is worthy of you. So whether it be your dream or something that helps you move forward in your career, you pick an internship based on that.
And get new opportunities.
There we
New
go.
opportunities.
There we go. Using everybody's words. I love that. So we're going to go into our next question, which is, what was a day like for you working during your internship? There are some internships that are set up a certain way, or internships where you can kind of create what you want your days to look like. So which one did you do and what did that day look like? So we're gonna start with you, Kenzie.
So like I kind of said, the virtual internship was a little bit more lenient. We did have assignments each week to fulfill. And actually, before we even really got into that, like collective as like the three little group that we were, we decided, okay, between all of our three schedules, what's the perfect deadline for us? Do we want to have the deadline? So what we kind of did is, which was really awesome, like the leader of the internship, she was like, how do you guys want to do it? When do you want our meeting times to be? What time works best for y'all? All that good jazz. So we kind of worked it to where we had the weekend to work on our assignment and then have it in by the following I think it was like Wednesday. I think it was like we decided to do it on a weekend so that way we could have like the most time. And I think that's what it ended up being. Like Sundays were like my material making time. Maybe Saturday I planned, and then Sunday, since it was no work, no school, no nothing, I was able to create the material and have fun creating and had too much fun on Canva. Really, I needed more time just to look at the Canva options than I needed
in the middle of the pandemic. You were like,
Yeah.
you weren't going out or anything because
Yeah, exactly. We were all locked in. So it was really nice and smooth like that. The material was all digital. So the only thing that was a hassle was just making the videos, and because I would always stutter. It was just finding the time. So sometimes I had to start making videos on like Friday, especially when we got into diphthongs. And man, I'm so glad as an English major I didn't get into all the grammar. That was
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and explain what a diphthong is to the audience, just in case they don't know.
Are like, I can't even tell you all of them right now. So English has a lot of like vowels, and so diphthongs were just like whenever you had like the different like O sounds.
Oh, okay.
And different like I cannot even explain. There's some weird one. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was all learning how you positioned your tongue when saying certain words
Right,
that was
so-
not familiar to them because they don't have those sounds in
their
Spanish.
language.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just getting to like the like actual like linguistics of like saying the word and what
And
it
the mouth
sounds
shapes and
like, and the
whatnot.
mouth
Okay.
shapes, and like telling them, you know, if it's a soft sound, you won't feel your vocal, like you won't feel
Feel
it
your vocal
move.
cords,
And
right.
when you need it, like when you have a deeper diphthong, you felt it in your like in the back of your throat. So it was really interesting. Totally went in the year and out the year after the internship for me. Because it was just like, I was like, wow, I don't know anything about English grammar. I had to teach
Well,
myself.
that was a good segue to say, not all English majors are built the same.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not.
I'm an education major, and I was just like, I know that word. I know what it's supposed to mean.
Some of us are lit in theory and lit theory writers, and some of us are creative writers, and some of us are those grammar police people.
Yes.
Definitely grammar police is not I. Okay.
Yeah, as the incoming kindergarten teacher, the best I can do is be like, it's how you enunciate your words, guys.
Yeah,
It makes a
all
puh
that.
sound. What does that letter sound like? That's what it is for me. They're like, that's what that is. So I love that. You got
Yeah.
to choose what you wanted to do and then
Yes, we
create
did.
things based off of that.
Yeah, we actually were able to choose. She would kind of give us like, hey, let's do something with reading, let's do something with writing, let's do something with listening, and then like repetition. We had to hit all four aspects: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So she just kind of gave us the theme, and then we went from there. And it was really cool to see the other two girls and the material they came up with. It was really awesome to see like how each of us could approach the same topic in a different way. So you really got to see like how each person like will approach material. So, and I actually learned a couple bits from them as well, on like, oh, I want to do that in my lesson next week. That was actually a really smart idea. Like, let me use that. I'll jot that down. So yeah, I really like the internship that way, especially because I think also during that time I was also in like, I think it was like in 16-hour credits. I had a lot of classes on top of
I
this
definitely
internship.
remember you
I mean, you
taking
finished that
Yeah,
way too.
multiple
and I
classes
finished that
at the same time, and we were like, I don't know how she's doing
And I-
it, but it's
And I
happening.
was an ATA student as well, so I still had my requirements to complete
Oh,
on top of it too.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was really nice to have that flexibility. I'm very thankful for that, definitely.
I love that. And I love how you use kind of the same stuff I'm using in education right now, especially because like that's how teachers lesson plan, like you do stuff with other people and you add tidbits and you're like, I'm taking that for next week.
Yes.
So David, what was your day in your internship like? Did you have like set things that you were supposed to do, or did you get to kind of create what you were gonna do?
So in a way, I kind of got the opportunity to create what I wanted to do
Okay.
and choose the projects that I wanted. So I chose to work with Universidad on the initiative. But my day really just, we're going to do a day in the life, okay?
Yes, come on, tell us what it was
So
like.
the day in the life, knowing I had to be there at 9 a.m. and I was just not a morning person, okay? And it was summer, y'all, okay? I was like, oh no. So,
I'm like, I don't have to be out.
okay, let's just rewind all the way. Okay, so at first I didn't want to pay for like parking over there in City Hall because I was gonna get expensive. And so I was like, okay, with Metro, they partner with Metro
Oh, okay.
to get us free rides.
Oh,
So I was like, okay, so I would come over here and park, and then I would get on the Metro rail, and y'all, it was so sad. It took me 2 days to like figure out how everything was supposed to work.
right.
Oh,
Yes. So my first day, I took the line that takes that comes by UHD
Mhm.
down into whatever street that is. I don't even know.
Was it the red line?
Yes, it's the red
Oh,
line.
okay. And by the way, UHD partners with Metro and you guys can get free rides as well.
yes.
And we have Metro cars that are subsidized, so you don't have to pay for all of it. So check that out. It's on the transportation segment of the website. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Anyway, please continue.
So I would get to, I think it's Central Station.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think it stops at Rusk.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so I was looking and looking because I know that's where the line, one of the lines goes, but it only comes away from City Hall. It doesn't go that
Oh,
way.
Oh, you need to be on the other side.
Yes. And so my first day, I was like, I was looking for it and I was waiting. I was like, maybe on the next one that comes, it'll go backwards. I didn't. And so I was waiting and it never went backwards. And I was like, I guess, well, I don't know where the other line is at. So I guess
Right.
I gotta put my pep in my, pep in my step and
Walk there.
go walk from that street all the way down to City Hall. So yes, I felt like, y'all, I was tired. I was in a suit jacket.
Oh,
it was
no.
summer. I
Ooh.
was not living my best life. And so however, once I discovered that the actual like line to take you that way was on the street prior to that, I think it's Capitol.
Mhm.
Oh, you can tell me nothing. I don't get bro, okay. I got off from that one line and went down to the other, and before you know it, I was there.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
figured it out.
However, they were really nice. The Office of Education was wonderful in the sense that they saw what we were doing and they got us parking at City Hall.
Oh.
Yes, they got us parking passes. You couldn't tell me nothing. I felt official, okay? Official. I walked in, I drove my car in the underground parking lots, and I would swipe my card, and you could tell me nothing. I was swiping my card. I was like, yeah, I work here. And and then just work. So once I would get there, I would go up to the 4th floor. That's where the Office of Education is at. Okay. They probably don't want nobody to know, but well, now y'all know it's on the 4th floor. And I would get my day started with whatever project I had decided or with whatever meetings.
Mhm.
There was a lot of meetings. I had I think I had like more than 2 meetings every day.
Oh.
Yes, like meeting after meeting after meeting. And it was really neat, just because, like I said, I got to pick the projects that I wanted, and I was speaking to people like in different parts of the world, because UNICEF is a huge world organization. So I was speaking with people like from all over. One of the program directors for the Child Friendly Cities Initiative, um, she was working for the city of Houston from California.
Oh.
Yes, yes. And so I got to meet, just so many different people. And, that's what I loved about this internship was just, like my days were never the same. It was always something new, something different was going on. Whether it was like the mayor having a city hall meeting or just something was just always popping at city hall.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, and then wait,
Oh, there's more.
There's more. And so, as many of us know that go here to UHG, the tunnels are so easily accessible.
Right.
So I found the magical wonders of Salada. Okay, in the underground tunnel. Because they have everything.
They do.
And so, once I discovered Salada, I always go down the tunnels, and it was really cool because you see all the different people that work downtown
Oh, yeah.
every single day. Like you would meet just so many different people every single day.
I know. That's cool. I like that you guys got to have like those different experiences. So we've talked about the good things about your internship and kind of just like what that day was like. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you had with these internships. Because I love people are usually always like, oh, my internship was great. This was awesome. But like, what were the challenges of those internships? Because I feel like that's important to talk about, especially when you're about to get into one or for students who are applying for some and don't really know what they're getting into.
Technological difficulties. Point blank, anything technology, as awesome as it is, always you're gonna run into something that just is not gonna go right. Audio keeps cutting out, or like all the time my video and audio would not sync up correctly just because of like the poor internet service that I had just to happen to wherever I was like filming. So eventually I had to be like, okay, I guess I need to be home. Like I can't do this on campus. Like the internet was always a little wonky. Don't even try videoing on the second floor. I never had any success with it. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. I think it's the dungeon. And then for me, like what I really struggled with material was not, I just struggled a lot with, am I sounding too repetitive? Am I not challenging them enough? Is this too hard? It was really trying to gauge, the strengths and weaknesses of my student at first.
Right.
Especially in the first couple weeks of meeting with my student and talking to him. And just trying to connect, he was a little bit shy at first. I was too, that's just kind of how it is when there's a language barrier. They're a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quieter. But it was my duty as his mentor to pull that out to, if you want to learn a language, you have to force yourself to speak it. You gotta speak it.
Exactly.
I struggle with that. But really it was just trying to make sure that the material I was giving to him was worthy enough. Was like,
Right.
is this fulfilling to him? Is this sounding too repetitive? Am I choosing an article that's too like maybe too middle school for him? Like just trying to incorporate that. And then eventually I just, as the meetings got on, I got to learn a little bit about him and like, oh, okay, so you're actually into he was actually trying to get into engineering.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was like,
okay.
oh, okay, cool, let me find articles on engineering. Roadblock, I know nothing about engineering. So it's like, I don't know what this article is saying. Well, he knows what this article is saying.
Right. You're like, I don't know what this word is, but like if you know it, then like that's
Cool, great,
Yeah.
awesome. So that was just kind of like the little challenges I ran into, was just trying to accommodate my material to the student and its students, because not only was I creating extra material for him, but we were also at the same time creating general material for the class based on
Right.
what they were getting taught and where they were. And mainly that was more like vocabulary, a little bit of like grammar. Really, when it was one-on-one, we tried to work a lot more with speaking and listening.
Yes.
And a little bit of typing back and forth. That's also one thing. Zoom, oh my goodness, Zoom, Teams, just any kind of like video conference, the
Right.
audio cutting in and out, the difficulties that will come with just connecting in general, like virtually. So you just have to learn to just be a little bit flexible with that. So whenever his audio couldn't fully connect, or he was just struggling to just get like visual. There we go.
There we go.
Wow. Just to get it, like to see my screen so I could share it to him. Like sometimes he wouldn't be able to fully connect and see anything. So it was like, well, okay, I guess we're doing everything in the chat box today. I guess we're just gonna have
Right.
like, you know, a little like writing, typing session today, you know, I had one day, that's literally what happened. He couldn't connect. Well, not that he couldn't connect, but he couldn't hear me and he couldn't see my screen.
Oh,
No matter how many times I switched back and forth, and like I said, I was very limited with him, and I think we were only able to do Teams audio because that's the only thing that they had access to.
right.
I believe it was Teams, yeah, because we originally also at the meeting we were on Teams, but that Teams is too complicated sometimes, and we as a group moved to Zoom, but I still had to meet with him via Teams. And I think actually at the end of it, we started using WhatsApp because that was just a lot easier.
Yeah.
Way easier. And then eventually that's just how we did it. We would either just like call on WhatsApp or just video call on WhatsApp, just so that way we didn't have to deal with the hassle of Teams. So just like trying like on the spot flexibility and like, you know, just trying to pick something in time because we only had a limited time and he only
Right.
had a little limited time of internet access. So it was just like trying to do it in a quick way that was fulfilling for him. So those were just like most of the difficulties I ran into was a lot of like the internet issues and technical issues of the internship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And funny enough, those are actually a lot of the things that like, as an education major and as a
Mhm.
teacher specifically, like everything you're talking about, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm struggling with. And like, I wish I had known at the time because I would have been like, oh, this is how you like connect with your students and stuff. We like
Yes.
literally have whole classes on that. So it's cool that like you got to see that side of like education and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Cause that's basically like the meat
Meat
of
of
it.
it,
And like that was
yes,
everybody's
yes.
issues, especially with COVID.
Oh my
So
God, yeah.
I can see how that transferred like through that. Yes.
Yes.
So David, what were the challenges that you had with your internship?
So honestly, this is great 'cause I didn't really have many challenges, but
Good for you.
Yeah.
you know, I'm just naturally pretty good.
Lucky.
Besides the metro.
Besides the metro. And yeah, just besides the metro, but once I got that parking pass,
It's a break.
it was it was a thing of the past because now I can park up there.
Right.
But no, one thing I will say, not an issue that I personally like just something that happened. And something important to note. Just because you're in these internships does not mean that you're not, you're at the mercy of the employer, of the participant,
Right.
or whoever, you still have rights. And an issue that occurred was one of the other interns had said something really out of line, out of pocket, to a minor about another minor, because we worked with high schoolers all the way to college.
Right.
So, we had to be on our P's and Q's all the
Always.
time, and there's certain things you just cannot say.
Right.
In the workplace at all, period.
Yes.
Right.
And so, I say this to say, I didn't have that, nothing was said to me, but I witnessed it. And so the trouble came from, not a trouble, but just, I don't know how to explain it, but just like,
The discomfort.
the discomfort,
Yeah.
yes. And knowing that, I have to be the adult in that situation.
Right.
And let my supervisors know, hey, X, Y, and Z said such and such, that is not okay. Yes, me and the other high schoolers are all interns, but like me being one of the older students, it's like, no, like I have a duty to make sure that everybody, feels safe and welcomed into the space.
Right.
And so that's really where that trouble came from. Not necessarily with me, but like, just, I guess being in a difficult situation to like
Right.
a difficult situation because I knew what I had to do.
Yeah.
But like it was just kind of like was never expecting it to kind of come
Right.
across
Yeah.
that in the space that I was in. But that's one thing I will say is when you're out there, just know that the decorum is very important and you shouldn't
Yes.
say just anything, and if someone says anything to you while you're being an intern, you're still protected. So speak up.
Yes, and I feel like that's super important, especially when you're going into internships as a student. And that you're not an employee at that specific company or with that specific place, and you feel like, oh, I don't know how to navigate this situation, or I'm not comfortable doing this, or don't know that. It's very important that you use your voice and speak up when you are in those situations, because like I said, even though some internships are paid, for the most part, most of them aren't. So it's like you're not being paid, you don't really have any loyalty to that place. So please make sure that you're comfortable in whatever internship that you choose. And if not, it is definitely okay to make a pivot and choose something else.
And don't forget, and internships are really important. I mean, we all chose an internship because we want to put it on our resume. We want to build up our career.
Right.
But first and foremost, when you go into an internship, most of the time you are a student. Your first priority is a student, is to be a student. So like, again, you're not an employee. You know, have your priorities. Yes, an internship is, it is a top priority, but first and foremost, your mental health as a
Always.
student is way
Absolutely.
more important than in the internship. And that's why, like I said, I loved my internship because, again, we were under certain circumstances, but at the end of the day, she was like, your education, your schooling, your grades are still a priority, and she really emphasized that if we were struggling, to come to her if we needed, maybe we couldn't fulfill our duty for the week, or whatever the case may be. Always, always, always be communicative, honest with your intern, whoever it is that you report to, because
Your
first
supervisor.
priority, yeah, your supervisor, that's the word, thank you. Your mental health and you as a student, that's your top priority.
Absolutely. So now is the time that we're gonna go ahead and ask our audience, our in-person audience, and of course, our virtual audience, if you guys have any questions. And I will go ahead and introduce Alina, who is one of the other peer mentors here at ATA, who is on. So Alina, do we have any virtual questions?
Hey everyone. Yes, so we have one question in the chat. So Wendy asked, and this question is for David. So during your internship, did you get to meet the mayor?
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
So I got to meet the mayor on several occasions.
And Mayor, who, just for
Oh, yeah,
reference.
sorry.
Yeah.
Mayor Sylvester Turner, yes. Yeah, I got to meet him on several occasions. We had a lunch with him. He personally welcomed us before starting everything.
Oh.
Yes, he told us his story. He told us about his first job being an electrician. Or
okay.
yes, or running wire. I don't know. I don't know if it was an electrician or somebody like when they run the wire to like
Electrician?
no, but like like the ports for like the phones and internet and stuff like that.
Oh, almost like an
that so-
not IT.
I don't know. He said he was running. He was an intern himself to an apprentice. He was just learning.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yes, and his boss had told him, "Oh yeah, you have to go under this. You have to take this wire from this side of the house and put it on this side of the house." And so he was like, "How am I supposed to do that?" And so he told us that he was like rethinking everything about as he was going under the house, crawling, making sure that the wire got to the other side. And so it was just just hearing these stories from Sylvester Turner were just really wonderful because when you get to meet him, he's such a regular person. He really is
Like he is.
he is a regular. He just is just a regular person. Yeah, he went to UH Maine, and so like he's big on like supporting the UH system, and so matter of fact, I was just at another event with him yesterday. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, throw your favorite plug in. What did you do yesterday?
So Mayor Sylvester Turner has a college challenge. So listen out, okay? For early voting. So we're in a competition between Rice University, UH Maine, and TSU to see who has the most early student college voters go to the polls. So make sure y'all go out and vote. Shameless plug. Okay.
Go ahead.
Even
You're
more
right.
shameless plug.
Any voting site you go to?
Okay, so let me get to that. Let me get to the shameless plug. Shameless plug. So next week, October 26th, we are having our UHD walk to vote. I am leading the initiative, so y'all might have seen some of the flyers out there already. And so we're gonna be walking to the polls. And it's not gonna be a long walk. They must have known that I was going to be
God.
leading the initiative because the polls are gonna be right here on our campus in the welcome
Oh, I
center. Yeah,
love that.
yes, yes. But we're not that special job because every single one of those universities also has polls. That's
Yeah.
why now
Okay.
we're in the competition, okay?
Right.
And so we need to make sure that we vote here so we win. I don't know what we win, but you know, I guess bragging rights. I don't know, but just come and just come anyway. Okay. But yes, at the event, we're gonna have a walk your boat celebration. There's gonna be free food. We're gonna walk, music, everything. Like it's on the south deck. Sorry, I was just stopped with my shameless plugging, but
No, absolutely.
But yes.
Out there.
and so that's what the event was for yesterday. We had Lin Manuel. Yes, I didn't know who he was. I'm so sorry. Like I knew of his work, but I did not know, like who he was.
What he did to the.
Yeah,
team,
so
yeah.
he worked on Hamilton,
Yes.
Encanto. And yeah, it was so funny whenever he walked out for the event going into the facility at UH Maine. And I was there with Eugene. I was here with your sister Courtney, your line sister Courtney from the AKAs. And with UHG Rising, and he got off with his posse, I'm assuming. I guess it was his posse. It was like these black SUVs, there was people, they were strapped and loaded. Like I was like, ooh.
Well, he is a celebrity friend.
Well, I guess the celebrity is somebody. He was, I would have been like, oh yeah, you know, just another regular person. But yeah, but yes, he was a celebrity. And I was like, I was just looking, and I was like, oh, in my mind, I was like, Jeffrey, pull the car around, like, because the driver went and opened up the door. I thought it was the mayor, but it was Lin Manuel.
So the whole celebrity just appeared, and you were like, I wonder where the mayor is.
No, and then I realized it after I realized who he was and like everything, because there was this whole crowd in between me, the crowd, and then it was him, like all the way over. There was just a huge crowd of people that just appeared. They were like yelling. You could have sworn they were giving out like free cheese. And so yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, I met the mayor. Sorry.
Plus more.
And yes, plus more.
Yes. So are there any other questions from our virtual audience, Olita?
I think maybe.
Yeah, so Wendy's saying, I didn't get the name of the lady, but I want to know if the student she worked with spoke any English prior to her helping him.
Oh, so that's a question for you. She wanted to know if the student that you worked with spoke English prior to working with you.
Oh, yes. So the students that we worked with were at a university level, and at Universidad de los Ninos and their secondary schools, they already are from elementary. They start to incorporate English. So
Okay.
I think in specific for him, because, well, I think it also varies on the child and on the person, of course, on when they come into the program.
So it's bilingual. learning.
Because, yeah, it's bilingual learning, because
Okay.
I know for a fact that there was one student who was not quite at an intermediate level, and thankfully the other two girls I was with, they were native speakers. So I had made it forthcoming that I was like, I am myself and only am like barely intermediate, Spanish. So they were like, okay, let's find a student for you that is like at almost the same level that I can communicate with. So Kevin was amazing at English. Like his pronunciations were really awesome. Really, he just had issues with like the grammar and writing, which is usually if a student is good at listening and speaking a language, they usually lack in the writing and reading. And that's literally the same for me. In terms of Spanish, I can read it and I can write it. But when it comes to listening and especially speaking the Spanish, I get a little bit nervous and like I'm not as confident and I'm just a little bit like not quite there. So I got paired specifically with a student who
It was a little bit more
it was a
advanced.
little bit more advanced, but either way, they were supposed to be in their they have intermediate A and intermediate B.
Mhm.
And so I got a student who was an intermediate B. So, that worked out perfectly. I was at like an intermediate A
Now
for
above
Spanish.
intermediate.
Yeah, so it worked out perfect. It worked out perfectly for that case. But for in general, for the internship, it was knowing Spanish was not actually required because the students were supposed to and expected at their level and their grade, since they were in college, to already have to be at that intermediate level.
Kind of grabs the basics.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, thankfully, that's how that internship worked for me. Of course, a lot of the time, other times, if you work with an internship that's more bilingual, they might want to require that you like are a native speaker or know how to speak Spanish priorhand. But like I
Right.
said, for this one, it wasn't necessarily a requirement, thankfully. That's how I was able even to get it to begin with. But I took it also as a challenge to myself because I'm trying to learn Spanish. So that was really cool. So yeah, they paired us with the students that the students would be most comfortable speaking with and that we would be most comfortable also speaking with too as well. So that was really
Okay.
cool. Nice
Oh,
question.
so I like that.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
really awesome because that's what I was nervous too about as well. I was like, man, I'm really gonna have to challenge my Spanish.
Right.
But he was actually really good at it. He was great.
You were ready for the challenge.
You were
I was ready. I
And I'm
was.
proud of you for being ready for that
Thank
challenge.
you.
Okay. Do we have any more questions before we continue on?
Yes, one more from Wendy. Did either of you guys get offered a position after your internship? If you were offered one, would you have taken it? Why or why not?
So I was told that if I wanted to continue, that there was one spot or one or two spots available. However, I just knew that the way I student is not allowed. I wouldn't have had time
Right.
to dedicate to the city. Because I'm in everything here at UHG.
Which
Like
is very true.
I'm a mentor as well. But yeah, I was offered to continue on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Awesome,
Mckenzie,
awesome.
did you get offered a position?
So, not necessarily position, because like I said, for my internship, we were kind of like guinea pigs just to see how this would go.
Right.
I'm not sure if they even did the internship again with ATN study abroad. I'm not 100% sure on that, but my supervisor did, she did tell us, you have my contact information, you have my email information, if we ever wanted to, actually go to Costa Rica, maybe actually work more with the students at the university, to contact her and she would see what they could do for us. So she gave us that opportunity. And like I said earlier, I even this past summer, I pulled them back up on my little Google, see what they have. And they do still have like some opportunities, but since I wasn't like, because it was really, it was kind of interesting because you're working with another university in another country with another
Right.
university in another country. So I definitely feel like if I had, if I could contact her and email her, I'm sure we could work something out for me to help with them again. Like I said, that's something that's still in the back of my head.
Maybe we should go
Um,
teach English to the Costa Ricans after we graduate.
I'm good
Yes.
on that.
There's
I'll be
lots of
teaching
opportunities.
English children here already. So
But,
I'm good on that, but thank you.
yeah, if they had offered like to continue the internship onto for like the next semester, I feel like if it had stayed like that virtual internship, I think I would have again, because like I said, they were really lenient with it. It was really nice. It was easier to
Yeah.
work more
Very
just one-on-one with
Yeah.
someone. Yeah. I definitely would have taken it again. Though thankfully I did not, because I, like David, I student really weird. My senior year at 18 credits.
To give y'all some background for them talking about how they student, these are the friends that like to pile on multiple activities, initiatives, while also taking over 12 hours each semester.
I
So
followed in your footsteps. I'm taking 5 classes a semester.
yes, these friends like to take over 12 hours each semester so they can get done faster. So that's why they student a little weird. It's not weird. Like if you can do it, awesome, props to you. But
We're
for
both
the
different.
they're built a little different. They like to do extra. And then I believe we had one in-person audience question. Did we?
Do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Antoinette.
I'm trying to balance, I got an internship for next semester,
Mhm.
so I'm trying to see how to balance an internship and doing full-time school. So I was wondering how, like, any tips on how to balance the two.
Oh, thank you.
I
So
would
that
say
is
a
a great
planner.
question.
A
So
planner.
really quickly,
Planner.
the question from our in-person audience member was, they got an internship for next semester and they want to know how to balance doing an internship with also being at school full-time, which is usually 12 credit hours or more here. So go ahead. What are your responses to that?
A planner. Definitely map out your entire day, everything.
Hour by hour.
Yes,
Minute by minute.
because you might forget an assignment, you might forget, oh my God, I had to do this for the internship. And I see your precious child, so you have to make sure you account for making sure you have time with them. And so like it's just an hourly planner.
Hourly.
Oh,
An hourly
yeah.
planner would definitely help you out a lot. But just making sure while you're doing all of that to take like mental like health checks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
super
know,
important.
while you're planning out your day and mapping it out, make sure that you map out time for yourself. I know that's practically impossible as a mom sometimes, but like it'd be those like bathroom visits, okay? Or if you don't see their hands underneath the door.
And I would say first and foremost, like I said, be in communication with your supervisor, let them know, like, at any point you feel like you're struggling, at any point where you feel you're not at your 100% best, be honest with them and, tell them, say like, okay, maybe I can't do this week, or, just literally talking to them and letting them know your situation. I promise you, especially also this goes for like professors too in general, like if you're just in any general class, they would rather much appreciate the honesty and the truth rather than you just totally like not give 100%. You're not doing that great at the internship, and you don't tell them why, and be real with them. Just be real with them. Let them know. And when you know that you're crashing, just like David would say, you need to have that one day. And that's what I had to do, with the plan. You want to give yourself like at least one day of the week, if not two. It really should be two, but at least one day where you don't do anything. Maybe you allow yourself to read an assignment, maybe, but really it should be 100% you that day and your child as well. So just be honest with your supervisor and get that planner. That's when I definitely started to like really get into planners, was when I got the internship and I had 6 classes to also like balance at the same time. I also used the heck out of the reminders app on iPhone. I put reminders for every single assignment that was due.
Going off too.
Yes.
In the middle of everything.
Oh my God, when I had my Apple Watch, it was always there too. So
Mhm.
like anything, reminders, a planner. I went through so many highlighters because I highlighted
Oh,
so many
yes.
important dates and assignments. So definitely just
Okay.
step
And
by
my
step
tip,
day.
my tip as someone who is currently in a full-time internship and full-time in school as well, especially since I'm about to graduate, please make sure that you just get it done. I'm one of those people that is a perfectionist, and I'm just like, this has to be the best thing I have ever written in this moment right now. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen that SpongeBob episode where he's like, this is gonna be the greatest essay ever. And like all he has on the paper after 4 hours is a really like extra worthy. Like, don't be that person. Do not do what we all did at the beginning of our internships where we were like, it has to be great every time. Like, just get it done. Get it done, turn it in, even if it's like 75% of like your 150.
75 is
75 gets it done. We have a saying in here.
degrees.
There it is. Skis get degrees, and it's very true. Like, just turn the work in. If you need to revise it, your professor will like let you know, but just turn your work in. It is so much better to have things in and get that 50 or that 75 versus getting a 0 and like not having anything in, because zeros are a lot harder to recover from than 50s and 75s, because a lot of times, especially here at UHD, your professors will work with you. So please make sure that you do that. Just get it done.
And I just want to add, if the internship is not like bringing you good, like joy, yes, joy,
Fulfillment.
yes. It is okay to say, you know what, this is not for me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you, but no, thank you, not right now. Thank you for what I've learned so far, but this is where the journey ends for me.
Yes, please remember, like, you do not have to stay in an internship that you do not like. You are not obligated, and even if you do have obligations, do your bare minimum and what you can handle, and then be like, thanks, but I'm done here. Because like we said earlier, you do not have to stay in any situation that you are not comfortable in. And if it is not working for you and your schedule and your mental health, please say no to it.
Yes, always.
Absolutely. So do we have any more in-person questions before we continue? Okay.
We might have
think
had
that's
one
it.
in the.
Do we have any
chat,
more
though.
virtual questions before we continue?
No, it's just the comment from Wendy, like Outlook calendar is awesome for keeping track of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I will do my own shameless plug. At the beginning of the semester, I did a class here in the ATA lounge about setting up a planner realistically. The recording is on the campus group's website, the same place that we have all of the other CLC recordings. So please, if you need help setting up that planner and knowing what that looks like, we have a recording up that you guys can watch as well. Okay, so
We're
we're
bringing the planner.
Oh,
yeah, there you
yes,
go.
and one more shameless plug, the ATA planner. We're gonna show you guys. So this is the ATA planner. I know it's kind of far. Let me see if I can get just a little bit closer to the camera. Here we go, guys. This is what the ATA planner looks like for this semester. It is full of lots of amazing things that you will need to continue your journey here at UHD. It has contact information for every single department that you will need as a student here on campus, including all of the advising in all of the colleges, financial aid, different stuff like that. We have everybody's contact information for ATA, including all of your peer mentors and the staff. We even have a weekly side with just a cute little things to kind of like take a break when you're doing things, little reflections. So if you do not have one already, or if you just want to drop by and get one, they are in room S418 here on campus.
For free.
For
the-
free.
For the low price of free.
Free, $0.
You know how much a good planner will cost you out there?
$40.
Oh, that's nice.
At least.
Okay, yes.
At least.
Like, where'd you find that one at?
That was an extra one from Target with the pretty outlines, and it comes with the stickers, one of those.
Yes.
So we're gonna jump back into our question. And funny enough, this was actually asked already, but I'm gonna ask it again. How do you guys navigate your school life, work-life balance doing those full-time internships?
Oh.
Like I was saying, like I had to have at least one day where my brain didn't work. I had to like turn my brain off for a day. And that also meant not mindlessly scrolling on social media. It meant
Oh,
taking,
Yeah,
because you're, as a college student, our eyes are always on a screen. And just even as just human beings, it's like we're always looking at a screen and just it hurts my eyes, it hurts my brain. So I took that time to just sit on the patio, take my dog out on a walk. Oh my God, walks, like
yes.
walk all along the bayou when I had lived right next to it. That was like the perfect way to just totally like disconnect and turn my brain off, was just like walk amongst nature with my dog. Like I had to have a day where I did that and where I didn't do any schoolwork, although there was a few times where I did not follow my rule and I did an assignment that I told myself I would do and I did not do. That was due at that night at 11:59. But do assignments like not the like don't like have your assignments like done before the actual due date.
Yes.
So what I did was they gave us a due date and I always, depending on the assignment, depending on the class, I would either bump the due date up for myself 3 days or 5 days, depending on like what it was. And I would put that in my planner. I'd have the syllabus, like I know the actual due date on the syllabus. I had my syllabus printed out, or I just had it in my planner, like listed, but then like on my calendar, I'd put like the hard due dates on the syllabus, but then in my weekly planner, like whenever, like I would put my due dates in there. And that's really what I was looking at the most, was like my weekly to-dos. And so just by like adjusting the due date for my own self, that helped a lot. It really did, like, because I would have it in my mind to have something done before, and so that would, for the most part, leave me with a day or like a half a day to just myself and not have any work.
That was how you did it. We used to
That's how
wonder,
I did it.
we used to talk in the office when Kinsey was still up here mentoring, we'd be like, how is she doing?
I
this?
changed
Like,
my
how
own
is
due
that
date.
happening?
I changed my
Okay.
own due date.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I
have
did.
to, I'm gonna have to use that. Usually
Yeah.
I'm like, it's done at 6 o'clock versus 11:59. And I'm like proud of myself, but you were days ahead. Wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would do it, like, I would try and do that as much as I could for assignments, yeah.
Wow, okay. So David, how did you navigate? Because friend, you were running around. It was summer,
Mhm.
but as a peer mentor here, you had to do stuff over the summer and to get ready for your next semester. So I know you were doing like double, triple duty. How did you do it?
I mean, I don't know, it just happens for some of us. No,
I'm just that girl.
yeah, I wasn't built like that, no. Honestly, it's just a lot of your mindset, you tell yourself you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, and I'm a big person on, well, but I'm big on just being sure when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do it right. And
That confidence in yourself.
yes. And so that's how I managed everything, I didn't, if I signed up for something, I'm gonna go, Tired or not tired, I'm gonna show up. But that just goes back to the whole thing. I was able to persevere through it all because I did set those times for me to just relax. Now, unlike you though, I didn't leave my house, okay? I didn't go for nature. Um, for me, with how that looked like was I would wake up and I would never get out of my pajamas.
Oh, we love
Because
it.
if I knew that my hair was not fixed, I didn't shower, I didn't get out of my PJs, I was not leaving my house. And so I knew the moment that I did all of those three things, I would be tempted to leave and not just relax without the outside world. And it's not like, and
Yeah.
so some people be like, oh, that's dirty. Well, listen, that's,
You need a Joe rag.
I-
You can leave the house.
yes, I didn't.
No shame.
Yeah, no, like for me, it was like definitely like, if you,
Leave the lazy
I
day.
needed my lazy day and to make sure that my lazy day lasted all day,
Yeah,
I just never got ready.
I love that. For me, ooh, I was just asleep. I'm one of those people that like, if it's my day and I'm asleep, I don't care what is happening. My phone is turned off. It's on do not disturb. And like, y'all will not reach me. There were multiple times where I was like, it's Friday afternoon and people are calling. They used to call me and be like, where are you? And I wouldn't answer until like Monday the next day. I'd be like, hi,
I'm like, she was
everybody.
asleep, y'all.
What's going on? They just used to know. They were like, if she hasn't answered and you called her 3 times, she's asleep. It's not happening. So I'm one of those people. I was like, I need my nap. I'm going to sleep. Don't call me. Don't think about me because I'm not gonna show up. I am not Genie. You cannot click your heels 3 times and I will hear no, I'm asleep. It's not happening. But yes. So, yes, rest is very important. College students don't get enough of it. Y'all need at least 8 hours of sleep. If you can't get 8 hours, please get 6. Apparently, they did a new study between like 4 and 6 hours for super busy people will get you just enough time for your brain to reset, at least enough so you can function without like detrimental effects. So get some sleep. Air quote. I'm an education major, so like I did some of the research, but I am not a nurse or anything. But like, just get some sleep, y'all. At least some sleep.
Just
So-
blink really long.
Yes. So my next question, because I know this is probably a big one if we haven't asked it already. How did you guys get your internships and how did you go about finding said internships? Because I know that's a big thing right now, especially for people who are about to graduate or they're getting ready for the fall semester and they're like, where do I go? How do I get this? And then like, once you did get that internship, how did you like set that up? Yeah, so David, I'm gonna start with you first because I know you probably had to go through a few more official paperwork and things like that because yours was at the mayor's office.
So they announced mine. My internship was announced like campus wide.
Mhm.
So like people were able to apply for it. They said that it was over 100 applicants. And I was one of the, I think it was 5 of us
Oh,
who were selected out of 100, over 100 people.
Okay.
And we had gone through 2 interview process,
Oh,
one
wow.
through UHD, and then UHD sent um, the top number of students that they wanted to send out.
Mhm.
And then from there, we interviewed with each department that we wanted to work under. And
Oh,
so I was
wow.
then, and so I was interviewed by the Office of Education at the mayor's office, and I had to wait and then I get confirmation. And so that's how that happened. But I was made aware through this internship through campus group email. They sent it out through that, and I was like, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna do this? Am I not? And so don't be like me, okay? Don't wait till the last day and be like, yes, I'm gonna do this, okay?
Yes, when you see it, send your application in. And shameless plug, if you haven't been on the campus groups website for ATA, please make sure you look at it. This is where all of the new things, like what CLCs are coming up, what events are going on campus. And of course, internship opportunities are on there as well. So please make sure you utilize the campus groups website.
And then also you want to make sure they are on these campus groups emails, the Gator blasts that they send out.
Yes,
Um,
check your student emails, please.
they'll send a notification from the main career center out there, the career centers for their career fairs, for their internship fairs. They're out there and they have several different kinds. Make sure you check in with your local colleges, but yeah, it's your colleges. Make sure you check in with, the Maryland Davis College of Business, the CPS college,
CST.
CST, and CHSS. They will have specific information on internships for your
For your
for your
major.
major. One that we also didn't mention, we was kind of like an internship / grant recipient that me and both and Mckenzie both
Oh,
got.
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We did the ERPA's,
Yeah.
plain language, so
Yeah, we work with the Institute for
Yeah.
Plain English Research Studies here on the campus.
Oh,
that was really
wow.
awesome. And just like David, literally all that David said was exactly how I got both of those opportunities. So,
Okay.
back when I was as an ATA scholar, we used to actually have a requirement of that like field experience
Yes,
internship.
I remember that.
That was more so
Long
our
time.
cohort. They
That was
kind of
like 2019, 2020
20,
cohort.
yeah.
So not the new people.
Not anything new. It was nice. I saw because it was a requirement. It was, to help push you into internships, was to help you find that. And literally that's how I found it. It was the ATA newsletter. That's literally how I stumbled upon my internship with study abroad at ATA. It was in their newsletter. I, really seriously read those newsletter. Just you don't have to read verbatim, scroll through it. All I
Eric not
saw,
gonna like that. Read verbatim.
read verbatim. Some of
Super
they're short and
Yeah.
sweet. Some of them can get a little lengthy, but actually take a look through the entire email. I saw education and internship and I was like, ooh, and I just like went straight to the link. That's literally how I found it. That's how I found the one that me and David did. It was just sent out from the university. So seriously check your Gator email, check it. And if you're not finding anything in there specific, as an ATA student, go to your success coach, go to your college advisor, or go directly to your college advisor if you're wanting something more specific for your career, for your major, and just ask. It's really as simple as that. Is just keeping your eyes open for the opportunity. I think UHD, out of the 3 colleges that I went to, I think UHD does a really, really good job at like broadcasting those opportunities to the campus. It's in there in those emails. You just have to read them. And if you're not finding anything of your liking, actually a little fun thing, I saw on our Instagram that we got a new archivist. And the first thing I did, because that's something that I'm wanting to do, is I went on to the library website. I found his email. They already had it up on their website. I emailed him. I actually talked to him this morning. I literally talked to him this morning, and he told me of all the internship opportunities at the Houston Public Library and at and in Freedman's Freemanstown, and they're in their art, in their library and archives. They're fairly new, so he was saying that they have internship opportunities. He got his in Houston Public Library, even through UH Maine. So he was literally giving me all the plugs. He was like, go to, he's like, that's all that he did, is that he just asked for first volunteering. You have to start as a little volunteering. Maybe that's how you start off at whatever, maybe organization.
Connection.
Build a connect. That's all that it took for him, was to just volunteer there every weekend. And he said, you know, by the end of the year, they've had an internship opportunity for him. Usually in a library, it's like 3 to 5 months, but he was like, just start volunteering. Just go to these libraries, go on tours, talk to them, volunteer there. And it's just that little bit of networking can get you into an internship just like that. So yeah, read your Gator Mail. Please look at it. There's a lot of good information in there. At ATA,
Our
career
social
center,
media.
social media.
Our ad is UHD_ATA. And of course, our hashtag right up at the top, hashtag ATA_UHD. You can book all of these into social media and you're gonna see what we are doing, what internship opportunities there are. Please read your Friday newsletters. There's so much information in there. Miss Erica worked really hard on them. And that is how we all found our different opportunities. Go to your college's advising center. They have opportunities for you there as well. The main career center knows everything. The College of Business's career center has stuff too. So utilize the resources that are around you, Gator.
Because you do pay for them.
You do pay for them.
Yes.
They are in your tuition, so you should definitely use them. Use everything that you paid
And but I
for.
will add this, don't expect for the internships to fall on your lap. You know, you really have to sometimes go and look for them. They're there, but like, you like, don't expect for them to just be like, oh yeah, if you want an internship, no, sometimes you gotta.
That work for
for
it.
it.
Yes, it's the same thing with scholarships as well. There are so many scholarships. There's money out there, but you have to go look for it and kind of ask. So of course, we are almost out of time. So my last question for you guys is, what are some skills, some soft skills that you learned through these internships, or what are skills that you already had before you went into these internships that helped you be successful?
For me, I will say, it was more so just refining my communication skill. Just speaking with, you know, I always speak with like different people from like different backgrounds. So, you know, when you're at City Hall, you're speaking to even more different people from different backgrounds. And so just being able to refine my communication skills, whether it be written communication or verbal communication.
Okay, Mckenzie, what did you learn or what did you pick up?
Flexibility for sure. You have to, you know, be a little bit flexible in what you're given. I already kind of, you know, I'm a Virgo, so every perfectionist,
Come on.
organization, I came in with that. It
Mhm.
just got really honed, I would say, at that point, because like I said, I had a big course load. And up
Yeah.
until that point, when I went to Maine, I think when I was at Maine campus, I think I was only taking like minimum 4 classes, 12
Yeah.
credits, just because I was just so overwhelmed on the campus. And when I came here, I kind of like kept the same like attitude the first semester, but then the second semester when I changed my major over winter break, took on an internship over the winter break. And I was like, oh no, I got myself into a pickle. It's been a whole year.
Yeah, cool.
It's been a whole year since I've had more than 12 credits under my belt. I was working still. It really like, I think that's from that point on, it was like my life was chaotic because I just wanted to get out of here. So I really like honed in on that like organization and like really setting priorities and like learning what was a priority, and the priority at the end of the day was like my mental health is what
Right.
really I had a lot of like practicing on during that while in that internship. But yeah, just being flexible, being able to like solve stuff like on the spot. Like I said, with those tech, yeah, problem solving, like the on the spot, like I said, with the technological issues of Kevin and everything, like it was like real quick thinking because we only had such a short amount of time anyways to connect with each other. So it was just definitely learning how to get through all of those little hurdles on the spot and as efficiently and as effectively as possible.
Right. And one thing I will add, especially as I'm like finishing out my current internship and getting ready to graduate in December. Shout out to me and David who are about to be done.
But also shout out to us too, because we're on
yes.
class of 2022.
Whoop, whoop. But one thing that I really learned throughout the course of this internship that I've been doing is having confidence in myself and like my own abilities. Because when these people accept you into these internships, they want you to come in like hot, heavy, ready to hit the road, like you gotta go. And for me, I noticed like as soon as I was more confident in myself and my own abilities and being like, okay, I might not know this right now, but I'm confident enough that I'm gonna be able to figure it out and I can keep going even when things get hard. I've noticed that it has kind of changed the trajectory of my internship and I've picked up on a lot more skills. I've learned a lot more. People are more willing to give me that information that I needed to get things done because I'm coming in with a professional attitude and confident in myself and my own abilities. So I think that's also something to definitely bring in when you do these things. Like, don't come in timid and be like, "Ugh, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how I got here." Like, no, girl, come in. You better strut into that room and be like, "Hi, I'm your intern and I'm here and I'm ready to learn." And people will be much more willing to help you out that way as well. So we're going to take our last few questions from the audience before we wrap up. So Alina, do we have any questions from our virtual audience?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do we have any last minute questions from our in-person audience? Anybody have anything? Yes, go ahead.
That was against the games and might have answered this already.
No, it's fine.
What was the time period you took your internships and how did that affect you when it came to school? Like you continued it or kept going? Or like ended it at the end of the period?
Oh, okay. So that was something we actually hadn't talked about. So when did you guys do your specific internships? Was it like during the semester, during the summer, COVID? What are we doing?
So mine was during the summer. It started at the summer one and it went until halfway of summer two,
Mhm.
a little bit less than halfway. Yeah. And basically, I mean, when it was over, I was given the opportunity to continue on, like I said earlier, but I just knew that, that my plate was gonna be extra full, and then I had a whole
Yeah.
other plate, I had my
Yeah.
plate and then another plate and another plate,
Yeah.
it was a
You
whole
were
buffet
serving.
of activities, okay? So that's why I just decided, to only do the term that I was assigned for the internship, based on like how I knew my availability was gonna be, because
Right. And
you don't want to overwork yourself either.
Oh, well, I guess add on to that. Are they pretty flexible with your availability?
So that just depends from
Yeah.
internship to internship. At the mayor's office, my office was able to do online
Mhm.
and in person. So it really just depends. Depends on where you're going,
Yeah.
Um,
And the question was flexibility for anyone that didn't hear for the online audience.
yeah. It just really depends. Mine was be on your computer or be in person from 9 a.m. to, I guess, depending on how much your hours were supposed to be. Mine was till 3. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Kinsey, how was yours and how flexible was yours?
So mine was pretty flexible. I took my internship in 2020 during the pandemic. So there was even more flexibility because it was during the height of the pandemic. So I got really lucky with that. But in general, since everything was online, it was fairly flexible in that sense. And technically in my internship, you're supposed to have like certain hours. So like technically each week we were supposed to be logging like 8 hours, which really just kind of was like 2 hours of like creating material, our hour with we had 2 weekly meetings I think it was like Monday and Fridays that we had our meetings, and they were each were an hour. And then like the last 3 were supposed to be like interacting with like the student. I can't really quite remember. It was a few years ago, but each week we were supposed to have, you're given at least a certain amount of hours a week for your internship. So think of it kind of just like a class or like a job. Like you kind of have a certain amount of hours that you need to dedicate to your internship. For mine, because of the time, because of the circumstances, it was really flexible on when I wanted to do that. Literally when it came to like submitting it for, since mine was like I had a part also of like our English like field experience. So like we had to, so we also had to like log the hours to Chuck. Like I had to send him like I had to make a sheet of like the technical times I was like clocking in for the internship, if you will. And perhaps for the most of it, I kind of like not BS, but I was like, yeah, Monday I spent 3 hours, Thursday I spent 4, but really I spent all the hours on Saturday. I just couldn't do it like that. Like it had to be
A weekday thing.
yeah.
Right.
But you know, again, like I said, it was super flexible. As long as I was putting in those 8 hours a week for the internship, I was pretty much meeting my quota, turning in the material and all that jazz. And like I was mentioning before, I got to kind of choose how I wanted to make my material. So really like videos were like the longest for me, but when it came to like making like a PowerPoint presentation, I was a little quicker on those, just because like audio and Zoom, it was just so complicated making videos and making sure that the captions all lined up and all that jazz. So yeah, I got a little bit more flexibility for that internship, I would say, than you would see at any normal internship. Very laid back, because like I said, because of the circumstances. So but like David said, because of like the pandemic, there are still internships that are offering that online and in-person opportunity. And I would say, you know, if you're going to be online, I definitely would say like maybe that is like a little bit more flexibility for you. And then like we kind of mentioned earlier, you know, you could always talk to your supervisor about that flexibility. That's exactly what ours did. We had a meeting. We decided as a team when we wanted to turn in our materials, when we wanted to have our weekly meetings and all that jazz. So it just would vary by intern to internship, but always just, you know, talk to your supervisor about it, about how to balance the internship with the rest of your schedule.
For mine, since mine is already built into my degree plan and it's kind of like a requirement, we didn't necessarily get too much flexibility, but the way that kind of worked was instead of going to like a specific class, since our internship was built in, that would count as class hours. So the time that I would spend in like a 3-hour class would be spent at my internship. So it kind of just depends on if it's needed for your degree plan and like how that works as well. So ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 o'clock. I think that is it for all of us. Thank you so much for participating with us today and asking questions. David's contact information is literally all over the UHD website. So you can see David wherever. We will drop Kenzie's contact information as well on the ATA website, so you guys can chat with her and catch up with her to see if you want to talk to her about the internships. We will also be dropping the study abroad link as well, so that way you guys can talk to Miss Claudia, who runs study abroad, and see what they have coming up and what internship opportunities they have as well. Thank you so much for participating with us tonight, and bye everybody. See you in the next CLC. It is tomorrow at 4:30 and it is Realty. Bye, everyone.